They're like, you see the verses with Ray J?
I didn't watch it, but I saw the highlights.
Ooh, that was a good. Well, Ray J is our greatest American entertainer, bro.
One wish, one wish, one wish, one wish, one wish.
And already.
Marion's the second greatest.
Stop it. For reasons that are not Ray J's. Yo. Welcome back to the Mark Hours podcast, the official podcast of YouTube. What's good with you, Chen?
What's good with you, boy?
Huh?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good, man.
Let me tell you what happened with me, man. Since you know, I told you when we went out for breakfast, I changed over my bank, right? I took my money. I'm not gonna say what bank, because they might be a sponsor. I don't know. I don't want to burn bridges yet, but I will say it was an interesting experience closing out my account, taking the money out, right? So first thing first, I opened up an account with my new bank and things like that, and that was a good experience. But I just wanted to have something waiting for when I go and have that big talk. That big talk that I thought that I was going to have of, give me my money, I'm out. You know what I mean? Because I never, I had this was the first bank I've ever partnered with. So I never had any other bank except for this one. So I'm already drawing it up in my head. I'm like, man, they're going to ask me a whole bunch of questions why I want to switch. And they going to try to get me to stay. Because every time I try to go there, they always try to get me to sign up for a credit card. They always asking me, do I want to open up another business account? And there's all this other stuff. I'm like, I didn't know I had the first one. Like you're here telling me another, right? But it is what it is. So I go in, feeling all high and mighty. And I'm in line, and there's a manager that's standing on the outside of the line. And she was like, what do you need, sir? Now, I'm here to close my account.
No, that sound like you rehearsed it.
I'm here to close my account. She said, "Oh, okay. You wait to go to the teller." So she told me okay, go ahead to the teller. So I'm confused off top because she's telling me to go to the teller. If you don't know what a teller is the one that's behind the glass. I'm expecting them to take me into an office to pull me to the side and be like, "Sir, we need your money." You know what I mean? So they tell me to go to the teller, and it was a guy there. And he said, how may I help you? And I was like, I'm here to close an account. I'm here to close both my accounts, my savings and my checking, right? He's like, oh, okay. That threw me off. I'm like, y'all not gonna chase after me to stay or nothing like that? The most disrespectful thing they did to me was when they withdrew my money, and before they gave it to me, they put it in the money counter. I ain't have $1,000 in there. That was the quickest I ever heard a money counter ever go. I'm like, why are you doing that in front of all these people over here? And then I could have swore when I left, they called me Chris. Every time I go in there, they call me Mr. Wesley.
Oh, really?
But I felt so disrespected. I felt like they called me Chris. I thought I was.
How long were you with this bank?
Ever since I was 18.
Oh, wow. So more than 10 years.
About 12 years.
Jeez.
I felt like, we built a relationship. Every time I come in there, they be like, hello, Mr. Wesley, you know what I mean? But when I closed my account, it was like, bye, Chris. They ain't say that, of course. But I just said that's what I felt like. They disrespected. And they gave me, my money to the coin.
That's good.
I mean, yes, but I felt this,
why wouldn't they do that?
Why did they put my money in the money counter, though? I ain't have 10 grand or 20 grand in there. It was like, it was like, I was like, all right, man, give me my $77, man. You straight could have counted out $77, bro. You didn't have to put that in the money counter, bro. But that was my experience with the bank, closing that account. I'm so happy.
That's good.
That I closed that account, man. That account, I feel like I made them rich.
Probably.
I feel like I made them rich, so they won't be eating off of me no more.
That's good.
So, thank you. I'm happy of that. anything going on with you and your bank?
Not my bank, but my car. So my mom, for my birthday, got my car fixed. Caveat.
Okay, caveat. Okay.
She called me to tell me this. She told me the price of it, and then told me that she wouldn't have all the money to get the car fixed. And I was like, okay. So I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about fixing my car then. I'm going to save up the money. I'm going to do it. But she was like, already told your car. I was like, okay. And I was like, all right, I'll pay for it then. And then so I ended up paying for it. And then she told me yesterday, like, hey, so I didn't quite pay for it towing the car. Because that was supposed to be the gift. It changed. First it was fixing the car, then it was like towing my car to the dealer to get it fixed. That was the gift. And then she's like, I ain't quite pay for your car. You can't pay for towing the car. It was in the charges of the full price of the car. I'm like, okay, tricky woman. I see what happened. And then yesterday, I think I was taking the car around. I was supposed to pick up my girl. And the car started acting up again. So I just wasted a whole bunch of money
for a car that you probably wasn't going to get anyway.
I was happy with my bike. I was happy with my beautiful bike. That's chilling right there. Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
So what did your mother get you?
She helped my girlfriend with the trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I wasn't supposed to tell anybody that, but the world now knows.
Well,
and neither one. Well, my girl will be watching, but only select episodes.
Oh, well, that hurts.
So, hopefully, she doesn't watch this episode.
Well, I knew Mama was gonna help with the.
That's good.
With the thing because she felt bad, but it seemed like you had a good trip.
Can you do a little like technical difficulties thing?
Yeah. I could do technical.
Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay. There we go.
All right, y'all. Sorry about that.
Are you?
I mean,
I don't think you're sorry because you really didn't affect nobody.
That's true.
So you're not sorry. I feel like you shouldn't apologize unless you're really sorry for something.
I also kind of agree because sometimes you could be sorry and not feel sorry. But you could be sorry for their situation.
I'm never sorry for their situation.
You don't feel sorry for people?
Not really.
Like somebody just got slapped. I ain't do it. But I'm sorry you had to go through that.
What time you got yourself slapped?
Like I feel sorry for Chris Rock. I ain't got nothing to do with that situation.
I don't know Chris Rock, so I'll be lying to say I feel sorry for him while at the same time clicking on every review based on what they thought about Chris Rock getting slapped.
It wasn't Chris Rock though. It was Will Smith. What you thought about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock? It's not like Chris Rock wasn't it.
I understand.
He was a blank canvas.
I get it, but I'm just saying. The funny thing about it, we still haven't heard from Will since the slap really.
He's doing ayahuasca and reading more books.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say he was always on Instagram. Maybe he's on. I haven't checked his Instagram since.
Me either.
But
everybody's healing. There's a lot of healing.
Is it?
That's what Jada said.
Oh,
well, she on Red Table Talk, so I guess she done healing.
Shout out to Jada.
I bang with Jada. I'm not like everybody else.
I'm trying to be like Red. I'm trying to be on Red Table Talk one day.
Oh, never me.
Why?
No, I'm good.
I think it'd be funny because
Why?
I'm gonna be myself.
Okay.
I'm not going to be I think people go there and they kind of change a little bit. I'm not going to over spiritualize my story, anything like that.
But they gonna make it spiritual. You're gonna be like,
I don't agree.
It's not something to agree.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're gonna do one of those. I feel you.
And
that part, they're gonna do a lot of that.
And that's what Willow's gonna be like. Damn.
Ooh, yeah, I can totally understand. And now you just talking regular, but the Joyce feel bad spiritual.
I just be like, yeah, but this is supposed to be the part 2 to Chen/Moses, whatever y'all want to call him, /Big 3-0, or whatever y'all want to call him.
Oh,
because you're, big 3-0.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it sounds a little crazy. Forget that. Don't call him that. But this will be part 2 to the Getaway cabin or the Getaway house with Chen. And you teased this part, and I'm interested because I kind of don't agree. I don't know if I agree, but I'm leaning towards not agreeing of we should aim to be bored at certain points.
I don't know if you should aim, but you should definitely let yourself be bored.
Let yourself be bored.
Yeah. Let yourself be bored.
Explain that to me.
It's an idea that I was playing with during my retreat. I'm looking for the journal. Okay, be bored. It's kind of like the anxiety thing.
Okay.
Boredom is actually good for you. Like if you think about it, right? I know we talk about drugs a lot, but like, what's the one thing about drugs that people say? Like, overstimulate certain things about your mind.
Okay.
Whereas now you can't cope with reality.
Okay.
It's the same thing with how the world is now. Like, there's so much entertainment going on constantly that you're always stimulating your brain 24/7. To the point where if those stimulants are not around, you start fidgeting. It's like, where's my phone? Where am I gonna watch? What am I going? And it's like, you should be able to be still. You should be able to just let things be for a while. Like, if you're on a train, just be on the train. Why you need to have your music? Why you need to have your phone? Why you need to watch YouTube videos?
Why I'm on the train?
If you on the line, just be in the line. If you're walking, just walk. Allow yourself to be in that moment. It's not quite like being present, but it's like, I feel like there's so much effort in not being bored that we just don't allow ourselves to just be and be still at times, which is, I think, unhealthy.
Really?
Yeah.
What is your definition of boredom? Because since I think the floor of the boredom is different for everybody.
Okay.
So let's try to agree on what boredom is. So, like, do boredom mean doing nothing to you?
That could be boredom.
Or
boredom is wanting to do something and not being able to do it. Wanting to do something external and not being able to do it because you're stuck.
Let me look at the word boredom. Right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm sure because I like it, but I need like a what's the word? I need something to go off of to be bored for bored, right? Feeling weary because one is unoccupied or lacks interest in one's current activity. I think that's a good definition.
Yeah.
So basically, doing something that I have no interest in. No, I don't want to be bored.
I don't think it's like not wanting to eat vegetables. Like, you don't have to want to do it for it to be healthy.
So you said that we should.
You should, but you should be bored.
We should,
or not avoid. I think that's the key word. Don't avoid boredom.
Okay.
I think, yeah, okay. If you shouldn't be like, oh, I don't want nothing to do and blah blah blah. I'm gonna just clear my schedule. I'm gonna throw away my video games because I need to be bored. No, don't do that.
That's weird.
That's a little weird.
Okay.
But you should also not be like, oh man, I have nothing to do. Okay, let me go on my phone. Let me watch YouTube because you're waiting on somebody. Or it's like, if, for example, in the last episode I talked about eating without screens. It's like, oh, I need to watch something to. Yeah. It's like, just allow yourself to eat. Allow yourself to go on a walk without listening to music. Allow yourself to be on the train without having to.
You in this train.
And the thing is, because we're overstimulated, we can't do regular things like read a book. It's too boring. You can't watch. You can't watch a YouTube video. Even watching YouTube videos, if it's not less than 10 minutes, you can't do it. It's like, oh man, this is too long. Like, there's certain things that if it's not stimulating, and even when we listen to podcasts, it's usually in the background. Like, when you have to listen to a podcast, when you have to, like, it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and just listen to a podcast
and be present with it.
There's a lost art in just like in the old days. People would just chill, just be out in the porch. Old people would just be out in the porch and just chill, watch things go by. People don't do that no more. And the thing about being bored, which I learned through this retreat, is that you start to become a little bit more creative because your brain needs to do something. But if the brain is relaxing and external things are stimulating it, it feels like it doesn't need to stimulate itself. And so when you allow yourself to be bored, you start to allow yourself to think. You start to allow yourself to be a little bit more creative. You start to have these ideas like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. Oh, that's something that I could do. And your brain starts to figure out how to entertain itself without. So I would reframe my be bored to don't rely on external things to entertain yourself. Allow yourself to be entertained. Allow your mind to entertain itself. Because then you start to think of new and better ways of doing certain things. And that's how a lot of these inventions were created. What's the name? Newton. What's it? Not Cam Newton. What's this guy?
Shout out to Cam Newton.
Shout out to Cam Newton.
Shout out to his
Superman.
Shout out to his new girlfriend too. Jasmine.
Brittany?
Jasmine.
Oh, I thought it was Brittany Garner.
No. Prayers to Brittany Garner. Brittany Garner's the one that's in jail in Russia.
Oh.
You talk about Brittany Renner.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Brittany Garner. Yeah. They weed. I think it was weed, but they definitely got it in there for too long. Yeah.
So prayers up to her. Thank you for taking us down that route.
Shout out to her and praise to her. Shout out to both of them and praise to Garner.
But I think you were trying to figure out the Newton guy.
So I can't think of his name, but Newton. He was a physicist that discovered gravity and calculates on everything. And the way he discovered it was just watching an apple fall. Well, that's the story. He watched an apple fall. He was like, "What causes that to do that?" And he started to look at other things that was just fall, and he found out gravity. Albert Einstein, who was on the train. Not a train, a bus. It was either a bus or a train.
You in the train?
Actually, I don't know if they had buses back then. So probably a train. Probably a train. Yo, I'm telling you, a lot of things. A lot of smart people be riding trains just to ride trains because they're smart and they let their brain wander. But anyways, but he was on a train, and that's when he discovered special relativity because he saw that the light. I don't know. He was in deep thought, but he was wondering why the light moves at the same rate whether you're still or moving. And he started to wonder a little bit more about that. And then he actually changed the whole landscape of physics as we know it now. And so a lot of times when you allow yourself to be bored, when you stop allowing external entertainment to stimulate your mind. Yeah, your mind starts to do what it's supposed to do, which is to think. And so I think that's my overall point about being bored.
Was there a moment, because I see you with your, you have your retreat book is what I call it, You have notes that you actually written down. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
The first night or the first day that you arrived at your getaway cabin, right? Mm-hmm. How fast did boredom strike you?
It didn't. I was on my phone. I was on my phone until my phone died. I was like, I'm not going to charge it. And that's when it didn't strike me. It was weird. I would say that. Okay. As soon as my phone died.
Help me.
I opened up the book, one of the books I brought to the retreat, Jazz by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison
is probably one of the best writers we probably in our lifetime, probably.
A beautiful writer.
R.I.P.
Didn't appreciate her when I was in high school, middle school. Mm-hmm. When I had to read The Blues Eye. It wasn't my type of book. But I need to reread that book because Jazz was a pretty good book, and they said it's not even her best book. So I'm like, golly. Anyway, I read that book. Mm-hmm. But throughout that reading, I kept wanting to go to my phone. And I'll pick up my phone be dead. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I just keep reading some more. And if my phone was alive, I probably would have read like maybe 10 pages and then gone on YouTube or gone, on some black hole down the web. And, so it's like, So I won't say I felt bored. I didn't quite start feeling bored until the next day when I was outside eating my breakfast, and I was like, man, what am I doing? Well, should I just charge my phone and take some pictures of these, birds out here? And I was like, no. Allow yourself to be. Just allow yourself to enjoy this moment. And I started writing. I started thinking. I was thinking about topics for the podcast, things I want to do. I want to put some lights on the back to. Why am I explaining this to you? It was things that I was like, oh, these are things I kind of want to implement in my life. And then even towards the end of the retreat, because I was so bored, I ended up editing all my pictures that I took recently for a photography job. I edited all those. And usually it takes me like 3-4 days to do that. I did it all within like 3 hours. Just because, I don't know, there was a level of focus that I had because I was so bored. It was like, oh, this is fun. Which usually editing for me is never fun.
I know.
It's never fun. And so when I was editing, I was like, oh, this is fun. And it's because I deprived myself of external stimulus for so long that the mundane, the boring task has some type of entertainment value.
That's weird, because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember the last time I was like really bored or didn't have some external to stimulate me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I actually I got on the plane, I guess when y'all hear this, a couple weeks ago, and I was just telling my sister, I said, man, thank God for phones. Because I had like I had a layover for 2 hours in like Atlanta. Yeah. Man, I was nodding off so hard, and I couldn't even be on my phone. Yeah. Because I was so sleepy. I was nodding off. I'm like, I know somebody got video of that, because I was nodding hard. I had my headphones in. It was like out my ear and all that stuff. But I think there is a benefit to the external stimulation. But to your point, there's a problem when you feel like there's a need for it. Yeah. When, like, for example, if it was me, I probably would have went in and charged my phone. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I guess I could do best of both worlds. You know what I mean? I guess I could just do it for breakfast or do it in the morning or do it at nighttime and things like that. But I don't really remember, if I can off the top of my head, to where I am just being. To where I just like even driving, like with no music, I gotta drive with some music. I gotta drive with something, because it makes the drive better. It like, if for some reason I see doing external stimulation things as a way to improve, not even improve, but to make time go faster. So I need to get to my destination. Instead of sitting alone with no external stimulation for 30 minutes, if I listen to something for 30 minutes, it makes the time feel like it's not dragging. Was there ever a moment while you was out to where you just felt like the days are longer, the nights are longer, because you don't have external stimulation to make things go by quicker? Because there's sometimes that I could be on my phone, and then I look up, and I'm like, that hour and a half just went by. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So, like, was there ever a moment to where you kind of cherish the days? Da, 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 da.
I don't know this song.
Don't catch me running.
Oh, you talking about Sade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like one of these like sitcoms opening like Cherish.
It's funny because like I very much heard you play this song.
Yeah, Cherish the Day is my song. Yeah. But you're not. Definitely Cherish the Days. But I will say this.
Okay.
It did not drag. Like there was no like, I didn't feel like the days were longer, but I did feel like I had like, I don't know what it is about days nowadays. I feel like I never have enough time. Like I never have enough time to do anything I want to do. And this goes into another thing I want to talk about, distractions. But I've always felt like, damn, I'm running out of time. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. During that time, I would take naps. I'll go on hikes. I finished a book. I journal. I had time to eat. Like, it was like,
it's like now, and you trying to find things to do because the day ain't over.
It's not even that. Everything felt like it was enough time. Okay. Enough time. And it didn't feel like it was dragging. It didn't feel like it was going by fast. It just felt like,
24 hours.
I felt like it was a good day.
24 hours is enough.
Yeah, okay. It was a good day. Like, I didn't feel like I wasted time. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like I was too bored. And it made me wonder, like, us not wanting to be bored, and going to your point about it makes the time move fast. Are we just so quick to get to the next spot instead of, like, really appreciating the time that we have right now? Like, there was a level of, wow, I'm still alive. What? that sounds morbid, but it's like, wow, I'm 30 years old, and a lot of people don't make it to 30. And it was a moment to, like, really think and dive into, like, in this next 10 years of life. I do want to just, like, appreciate every moment. Like, even the podcast, I feel like it's kind of like just going. Like, it's it's probably 3 years?
Almost 2.5. This is episode 98.
Yeah. So
I think it's 98, yeah.
So it's like, even the podcast, it doesn't feel like a blur. I won't say that. But even when it starts to pick up, I don't want it to feel like a blur. Like, if it ever picks up like that, I don't want it to be like, yo, do we still even like this? Like, I don't want to even have that kind of thought. Yeah. And so just, taking your time, slowing down, really enjoying and really appreciating the moment. Or just even the drive back, the drive going up. I was listening to music, I was listening to podcasts, I was listening to all that. Coming back, because I don't even know how to explain, but because I already had certain things downloaded on my phone coming up, like I like the podcast, like buffering, right? So you might start in 10 minutes, but most of it is already downloaded by the time. So when I didn't have service, it was still playing. Versus when I was leaving, I had nothing playing, and there was a moment where I preferred the quietness of the car versus music. And I remember we was cooking, me and my girl, after I came back, and she started playing music, and it was irritating me. I was like, "Can we just be quiet?" And I was like, "Oh no, you can't be that guy that's like, you could disturb my peace." Like, I don't want to be that guy now. Everything needs to be in a certain place. Oh, you have bad energy. I never want to be that guy. I never want to be the bad energy guy. I can't hang around certain people because they got that. And, like, I don't want to be that guy. So there is a balance, right? Like, you can't be too in your tranquility type of space. You need to be able to exist in a chaotic environment as well as a peaceful environment. You can't be in both. When you can't not be in not both. I guess that's the thing.
When we went to breakfast last week, you said something, and I'm not trying to jump and go through your notes, but you said, like, yo, when I got back, things was fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Baltimore is a city now.
It's not that fast.
But it's not a fast city. This is not New York.
Yeah.
Like, what did you mean by, like, things were just fast to where now that you actually, how can I put it? Now since you went to the Getaway, is that your pace? Like, basically, is that going to be your default pace that you want in your everyday or goal once in life? Because usually what happens is people usually move to a slower city or move somewhere where it's not hustle and bustle when they older. But you kind of experienced that just at 30 years old to where you're like, whoa, I really just be moving fast. And I didn't realize how fast I was moving until I went away to where I was moving at a pace to where I was like, oh, 24 hours is enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At first you was like, I feel like I'm just doing things and I'm not really getting the things I really want to do. I don't have enough time. But then you actually sat down and you was like, oh, I do have enough time and some. But then you come back and it's kind of like, whoa, why do I feel like I'm at a different pace than I was at the Getaway house? So, like, speak on that. I guess. I guess I don't really have a question,
No,
but
that makes.
like I need intel on that.
I get it. So I mean, let me just clarify. So overall, it's like, do you feel like the first part is like, what do you mean by things are moving faster than you or things are moving faster towards for me, right? And so to answer that question, it was just overstimulating. Even driving the car with the horns and the even driving, it was like there was a part of me that didn't, like, I was in a slow lane. Like, it was just like I didn't feel scared to get in the fast lane, but I was like, why am I rushing? Like, I'm going home. Like, so there was that. Coming back, there was like music, cooking. My girl wanted some music. It was just a lot of like overstimulating and I guess it's like going from cold to hot versus easing into hot. Or going from hot to cold. And so, like, with things just going back to what it was previously, it was just too much instantly. But to answer, is that more my pace? Yes and no.
Okay.
And so going back to what I was saying earlier, like, I don't want to be the guy that can't move in any environment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think you need to be who you are, and you need to be able to keep your peace regardless of, like, the type of person I want to be is that person that's like where everybody's yelling, screaming, and then the person chilling. Like, that's the person I want to be. I'm kind of that person, but I can't get a little anxious if things are going too crazy. I think I want to be that type of person that, like, even like if everybody's on their phone, I don't want to be annoyed that everybody's on their phone. But also, I don't want to feel like I need to be on my phone because everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
Like, so I want to be the person that everybody's on their phone, I'm not on their phone, but I'm cool. Like, and I think this is something that I'm not sure, but something that I think boredom teaches you is like, be okay with not doing anything, and not feeling awkward, because there's a need to feel like you're occupying yourself, like you're busy. Like, I don't know if you ever felt this, but like, if I'm in a room with people I don't know, and they're just chilling, most of the time they're on their phone. I'm gonna whip out my phone too. I'm not just gonna sit there and be just here, but it's like, be awkward. Yeah, allow yourself to be awkward. Allow yourself to just sit there and just chill. You know, just look at your hands, look at the floor, look at the wall, and go into deep thought. Who cares if people think like
that's a quiet room?
Yeah, but what I'm realizing, most rooms are like that.
Really?
Yeah, if you don't, like, think about it. If you go to a house party, right?
Or probably a kickback or something.
Yeah, and you don't know anybody there, and the person you know is busy doing something else, and everybody's on their phone.
Nobody in that room talking.
Yeah, I'm not about to strike up a conversation when somebody's on their phone.
But you could, though.
I could, but why would I if you're on your phone? Because my assumption is you're busy.
But if you seen somebody who was sitting like you that's not on their phone, you may be like, hey.
If I need to.
Yeah, okay.
But it's like, also, it's not like you need to have a conversation with someone. Okay. But like, say you had a thought. I remember I was hanging out with my girl's family for her graduation, and her sister was like, because I wasn't on my phone. Her sister was like, you people watch? I was like, yeah, sometimes. She's like, you see that old person? He keep looking for his family, but he can't find them when they're right there waving. And that was a cool moment. But it was like a small moment. It wasn't like we didn't have a full-on conversation. And I think these little moments we miss because we are so into trying to seek entertainment for ourselves versus like allowing life to sometimes, push themselves on. I think we want the control. And this is getting too philosophical, but I think it's a part of we wanting to control the outcome for ourselves versus just allowing life to be. Yeah, and I think that's something that I learned going to the Getaway house. It's like sometimes you just let the day be. Yeah, you don't have to figure out everything in the day. Though I do think you should schedule.
Now, let me tell you why you're cheating. Though,
what's up?
You took off work.
I did.
You haven't been back to work yet.
I haven't.
What's going to happen when you get back to work and 8 hours of that day that you was free, 6.
Who works 8 hours? Let's be honest. I do.
I work I work 8 hours. Actually,
we do.
Actually, I work 9 hours. So you want to keep it a buck.
I work 12.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
But who really works 8 hours?
Somebody from my job actually subscribed to the channel, and she, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we work 8 hours.
I work 9.
He works 9. Mm-hmm. I work 8. But we're not the norm.
No breaks.
I'm just saying, no breaks. I don't even eat lunch.
I don't pee.
That's nasty.
I pee in a cup. I keep under my desk. I don't.
What
move.
happens when you kick it?
Why?
You say you clumsy.
I am
clumsy.
But I'm not kicking my pee.
Yo, though. You forgot what's that?
I might. But what happens when a good chunk of your day, or majority of your day, is taken away from you with work? So now you're not really doing what you quote unquote want to do. You love work. You love the work that you do.
Yeah.
With coding, and I do remember you saying even like months ago, because I think there's peaks and valleys and things like that. You're like, oh, I love my job again. Yeah. Because there's always that point in like your job to where you're doing things and you're just like, this is work. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And now you feel like, this is I'm actually learning something, actually doing something. I love my job again. Yeah. I actually was talking to somebody, and I tell you who off camera said this, and they was like, and you probably know because they probably
like that. Because every time people do that on the podcast, I'm like, yo, just tell the audience.
No, I can't say it.
I'm the guy now. I get to know what y'all don't know. I'm gonna figure out who.
I'll just say it, but you probably know because this person probably told you because we both know them, right? Yeah. She said, I asked her, how's work coming along? And she said, yeah, it's good. I'm just waiting to get promoted. I want to get promoted right now. I said, didn't you just get the job? She was like, yeah, but I learned everything at this level. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move on to the next. I'm ready to move on to the next level. And I was like, wow. I'm like, you just got the job. Like you literally just got the job. Yeah. She was like, yeah, but I learned everything at this level. There's nothing else I can learn at this level. So I'm like, dang. So what happens when you go to work? How are you going to structure your day? Or, like, for example, this is a holiday that like we are recording on, and I'm guessing you go back to work when everybody else go back to work.
Yeah, tomorrow. Like,
how are you going to battle that? There is enough time in the day to, there may not be enough time in the day to do the things. Do you now start to remove some things that you want to do? Because you now have to like actually like work for 8 hours or things like that.
Yeah, I think it's two things.
Okay,
you can't do everything you want to do.
That is 100% true. We gotta accept that.
That's just a fact. But you can't pick one thing that you want to do for that day. Sometimes it's gonna make sense. Sometimes it's not gonna make sense.
Word.
And that's just, something that you have to figure out for yourself. Like if today I want to go to New York. Like, I got a podcast to record. I can't do that today. I'm sorry. I just can't. I mean, I could, but it might not make. Well, let's say I want to go to LA. It might not make sense to do that today, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I can say, my highlight for the day today is the podcast.
Yeah.
And so what I learned, and this is the book that I read that I recommended last episode, Make Time. So pick one thing and then dedicate your focus and energy for that one thing. So yes, you have energy for I don't know, like for work. I don't know work. You have energy for your work, you do that. But maybe your one thing that day is, and it could be anything, right? Maybe your treat for the day is, I want to watch Stranger Things.
I still haven't seen the new season. I'm going to watch it, though.
I just saw the first episode.
It's good?
If season 3, I don't know how to explain it. Well, I can say that. Season 3 felt like Disney Channel for me. Season 4.
Oh, we back at it?
We grown up.
Oh, okay. It
feels like HBO.
Okay.
So far, it feels like HBO. I'm like, oh, y'all serious this season.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyways. But that might, or playing 2 hours or an hour of video games. That might be your highlight for the day. Tomorrow, that might not be your highlight. Might be knock out an episode. That might be your highlight. You focus on that. The next day, your highlight might be having dinner with your girl, cooking dinner with your girl. So it's like you pick one thing to really sometimes it might be things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be things that is important to you. So it might not be things that you need to do, but it's important to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might just be a thing that you want to enjoy.
But I love what you're saying, but
is it realistic?
But that, and right now you're being Rihanna.
What I mean?
You're being anti, right?
Anti who?
Anti-society of what we are right now.
Okay.
The way you're thinking is completely opposite to how things are in our normal day society.
Yeah.
We think we are the best multitaskers.
Mm-hmm.
We are a society of multitaskers to where you do these things. Don't have one business. Have multiple businesses.
Yeah.
You know?
Different streams of income.
Exactly. Don't just, what you do on TikTok got to be different than what you do on Instagram. It got to be different than what you do on Facebook. And then YouTube is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
And you got to learn all four. Mm-hmm. If you want to be successful, you get what I'm saying?
Have multiple husbands and wives.
I never heard.
Oh, okay.
I
might be in a different party.
Yeah, totally different. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, but people are saying or trying to do multiple things. And it's kind of like people see value more in being a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Besides being a master of one thing. You get what I'm saying? I have this. Oh, you ain't got a vending machine? How come you ain't got a vending machine?
Yeah.
You gotta have a vending machine. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Oh, you don't have real estate? You need real estate. You don't have an LLC? You don't have a podcast? Podcast is now like the new rap game now. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have a podcast? Oh, okay. You don't tweet? You don't. So it's like what you're saying is kind of go against the theory of you can't do everything you want to do, because we are subconsciously and consciously being taught and being told by people that you can do whatever you want to do and you can do as many things as you want to do. Because
you can't. No, you can't. I mean, I'm a big believer of jack of all trades versus master of one. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a big believer of that. But the thing is, you gotta be realistic with yourself. The more things you add on, the less of those things you're gonna be good at.
A master at.
Yeah.
You probably be good, but you won't be a master at it.
I mean, no, but the less you be good at it.
Yeah.
Like, if you add a new thing to it,
you just take
time away from the other things that you probably be dedicating. But that's if you want to be good at those things. I think a lot of times we all try to be good at certain things. First, it's just, is this something that you like to do? Like, you might suck at video games, but maybe you like to do them. Okay, cool. Why do you need to be in the top leaderboard of Call of Duty if you just want to play? Yeah, you're going to keep getting shot. Yeah, you're going to keep dying. Yeah, but that's what you like to do. You like to paint? Maybe not the best painter, but maybe you do it once or twice every month. That's cool. You know, I think that's something that I had to take into account. It's like, I want to do all these things, but I might not be. But for me to be good at it, I need to do it frequently. So what are those things that you want to be good at, and what are those things you just want to do? And I had to separate those things. Like, there's a couple of things. Like painting, I want to paint, but I don't want to be good at it. I just want to be able to, express my creativity. Yeah, you know that. We got some paint.
I really had no idea.
I want to paint.
I thought you had like paint, like I think like to paint your walls.
I like to run. I don't need to be running marathons.
I knew that.
So it's like you guys just gauge what you want to be good at and what you don't want to be good at, and I think that's how you build out those highlights. Like for me, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to paint more than once every 2 months. Like, I just don't got that type of time. But I might pick, August, I'm going to paint. Just one painting. Next month, I might travel. And when I say travel, I might, go to Philly. I might go to, West Virginia. And I think those are the things that you have to, and then for me, coding is something that I really enjoy and want to get better at. So once a week, I'm going to do a code competition. So it's like the frequency, what you want to be good at determines the frequency of how many times you do it.
So because coding is one of the main things, you're going to dedicate more time to coding than painting.
Exactly.
Rather. Okay.
So yeah, that's how I kind of go about picking what shows up a lot versus what shows up once in a while in my highlight. But to your point, yeah, you know, our culture is all about getting more done faster. That's what our culture is. It's like how busy can you be? Like, you know, if your job doesn't, like, because certain people have jobs where they are not working. I scratch that example.
Okay.
I remember somebody saying, I feel ripped off if somebody comes in, fix my AC, and leaves within 30 minutes versus somebody come in, fix my AC, and they leave in the next 4 or 5 hours. I feel like I get more for my money if the price was the same.
Makes sense.
But if somebody does it in 30 minutes versus somebody doing it in 4 hours, they still did it. So what's the point of complaining? They did what they were supposed to do. I think we are so fixated on how busy somebody is versus the outcome. And it depends on what your outcome is. If your outcome is to enjoy life more, then yes, it shouldn't matter how busy you are.
Yeah.
But if your outcome is to, you know, be a billionaire, then yeah, you might need to be busy. But then Warren Buffett, he's not a busy man. if you ask, like, I remember Bill Gates looking at saying that one day he looked at Warren Buffett's calendar. The man had no meetings. He was like, "How is that possible?" He's like, "I'm the boss. I can pick what meeting I want to go to, what meetings I don't want to go to. Like, I'm not about to go to any random meeting."
I saw a random video of Warren Buffett in an ice cream store. I think he was fixing ice cream for himself or whatever.
But that man enjoys life, you know. And I think that's the type of person I'd rather be. Somebody who enjoys life, no matter how successful I am.
Yeah,
I'd rather be the Warren Buffett or the man with, you know, that's making 20, 30K. I'd rather not. But if it comes down to it, 20, 30K, but it still enjoys life. Still finds the pleasure of the small things. You know, whether it's like a small town, a small house, in the woods by himself. I'd rather be that guy than the guy that's like a multi-millionaire, always busy, never home to watch his kids, never doesn't have time for friends, you know, never does anything outside of job work.
He got all these cars he can't really drive.
Can't drive. Haven't driven any of it. Like, I'd rather be a poor guy or Warren Buffett, and really enjoying life than somebody who's successful but is miserable.
I have a question. I like the conversation of just our reaction to boredom, and not to quote unquote aim for boredom, but to be comfortable with it if it comes. You was able to do that based on your environment, though. Yeah. It was a getaway house.
Yeah.
Getaway. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Is it possible to obtain that home? Not necessarily your house. Yeah. But is it possible, like, for example, we always have this thing, or maybe everybody else have this thing. You go with the flow of traffic. When you're on the beltway, you go with the flow of traffic. Yeah. Meaning, if the speed limit is 60, you may not know that you're going 75 because you're going with the flow of traffic. If we take that analogy and use it with the flow of society, how is it possible to obtain that pace without your environment actually growing that and making you do that? No. Of course, in the getaway house, there's the lockbox for like your phone. Of course, in the getaway house, there's no internet great service because you're in the woods. You get what I'm saying? I guess that's the whole point. You don't see getaway houses in downtown Baltimore. You get what I'm saying? At least I never seen it. There's always a point of having it somewhere that is secluded from society, or secluded from community, rather. So, is it possible to obtain that without that being your environment, or like whatever?
No, but you can build that environment within.
How? Like, here we go.
Next episode. Next episode.
I really had no idea that you was going to end the episode right there. I really was into the episode. I really was into the
conversation. But there is a way.
And
I think we're going to talk about it.
And I had no idea that was in your notes either. That was low key lit. I like it though. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nah, man. But yeah, I think I would encourage everybody to try to thrive in boredom. I think I remember even reading that Make Time book, and the guy was saying, if you want to write something, and I think he was quoting even Stephen King or someone who's a writer, or maybe Robert Greene, and he was like, don't try to walk away from writing. If you allocate an hour, use that hour to really write something. And you only write a line. You only write a line. But sit in that time to write. And he said, do that every time. And I think because we're so used to being stimulated, if we wait 10 minutes, we haven't wrote anything, we're like, okay, I got to do something else. Like, we can't just sit there for an hour just look at a blank screen. And people say, I looked at a blank screen. But do we really? We would look at a blank screen for maybe 5-10 minutes, and we're like, I can't figure anything out. I'm leaving. And I think being bored teaches you to sit with something, allows you to be patient for something. And I think overall, that's the key that I'm trying to push across. Be patient, be awkward, be bored.
I feel you. Hopefully, y'all enjoying this series of the Getaway with Chen. Because this is what would be his experience of his getaway house. This is your first getaway, tiny house,
getaway.
Right?
I might do one with my girl at the end of the year.
That might be hard.
You think so?
You got 2 people.
Yeah,
and then
space.
You got a tiny house. That's all I'm saying, just for space. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just like, y'all go grow. But make sure y'all like and subscribe to the episode, man, and y'all be good. Blessing.